Welcome back everyone, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm DarkHour717. As the holidays wind down and we try to get back into the swing of releasing content, one area I especially wanted to visit is mining. With many changes happening over the last few patches, we have seen mining take some rough hits. Starting with patch 3.20 or even as early as 3.19, we saw the viability of the Prospector go away and a more laser focus on the Argo Mole being taken to ramp up multi-crew experience. This was actually followed by more adjustments with the laser mining heads, gadgets, and mineral deposits. And through 3.20 and 3.21, we saw many asking for a rebalance and a more across-the-board change to at least return profitability back to the Prospector. Well, with 3.22, we received exactly that. As we get into this mining update, please don't forget, if you like this type of content, hit that like and subscribe button and stick around till the end of the video to see how you can get entered in for a chance to win an Anvil Arrows starter pack. And that's going to take us to a quick word from our sponsor. And surprise, the sponsor is me. Well, more so darkhourpc.com. The website is now up and running, and if you're looking for a PC to replace a broken or aged one and are either on a budget or do not want to way overspend, or even if you want to look at having something custom built, check out darkhourpc.com. We offer custom PC consultation and build services, as well as pre-designed models that can be built for you, all starting at $799 US. Also offered are repair services for the greater Indianapolis area, and Dark Hour PC really strives to provide for a fun gamer experience, whether you're a fan of Intel or AMD, with many choices and multiple price ranges. We can even get you set up if you want your build to be showcased in a YouTube video or even built on a live stream. We take great pride in being able to offer great systems for those that may not want to build their own, and we even offer the ability to add items such as RGB strips in the cases or even sleeved extensions for that finished look. And we are currently now shipping to all the lower 48 states, so check out darkhourpc.com for what could be your next gaming system. As discussed previously, we saw mining change in a major way with patch 3.20. The Mole was now the targeted ship to use, and trying to find anything that was breakable in the Prospector was next to impossible. The viability of the Versus favorite little miner as an AUEC earner just went out the door unless you were in a party with an Argo Mole that could assist. But along with that, we also found several rocks that were not breakable even by the Mole, with masses that exceeded anything seen before. Many rocks were taking 2 or 3 moles to get through the first break, and some were completely unbreakable. Gadgets had now been limited to just a single gadget that could be placed on a rock, and the mining heads all got reworked to where you could no longer just throw a lancet on and go break anything under the sun. Though it was not in a great state with moles, we were able to get by and make a profit courtesy of the Jolly Green build by Loud Guns. Along with this, the availability of high value ore like Quantanium was also altered to be more realistic. No more was it widely available and easy to find, but now accounts for only 2% of the available ore out there in the verse. Much of this is also in very small quantities. Ores such as Terranite, Bexelite, and Gold are now the new ones to concentrate on. And although in regards these are a lower value ore, they are readily available in varying sizes of deposits and can be very profitable. Now, all of these changes I do not disagree with. Definitely there was a change that needed to be made. It was just way too easy just go and farm Quantanium nonstop and have a nonstop money earner. And that really takes away from the immersion and realism of the game. And this brings us back to the Prospector and its rebalance. With patch 3.22, the previously severely nerfed Prospector is now back. Though there are some ways you can go to make sure that you maximize your profitability, the first thing I would concentrate out is the loadout. And personally what I prefer is the following. For a mining head, use a Hofstede size 1 and a mining module of the Focus 3. For gadgets, you're going to want to make sure that you have on board a Sabir or a Wave Shift, though preferably I like to stick with the Sabir. I also outfit the Quantum Drive to a Voyage or an Atlas Quantum Drive for extended fuel economy and less need to stop for fill-ups along the way. Now, where the main mining spots were previously all on Lyria, we are finding new life in the air in Halo. A decent hunting spot that we've found has been Arc L2, and you're going to head to CRU L4 and stop your ship when you're about 10,213,000 kilometers from CRU L4. As well as for surface mining, instead of Lyria, we are seeing Aberdeen and Ariel as hotspots to visit in both the Mole and the Prospector. In both areas, we have found large deposits of Bexelite, Terranite, and especially gold. and these areas can be very profitable. Though at times the halo can be dry, give it a little bit of time and you're sure to hit something. When you arrive, scan around and search for different markers. Keep in mind, in order to be able to scan a rock and what its breakdown of materials is, it's easiest to be in mining mode, and this requires that you be very close to the asteroid or rock on the ground. Pay close attention to the right side HUD, as this will give you the breakdown of the ore, including its mass and potential SCU count. Also, the indicator here will show you if it's likely you'll be able to break the deposit or not. If needed, when close, land, and this is when you can exit your ship and place the gadget on the rock. Again, I do prefer the severe, as it does decrease the resistance by 50%, as well as increases stability by 15%, and also increases the charge window by 50%. Once you depart your ship and approach the rock, put the gadget in hand, and when close enough, left click the mouse to place it on the rock. Once attached, interact and zoom in to adjust the 3 sliders to match the waveform in the screen. You will see that the percentage increases in the lower right hand corner of the gadget as you get closer to matching the waveform. You may need to go back and forth between all the 3 sliders to reach the required 90% minimum, but once that is reached, you can hit the activate button and you're all set. Now, if you cannot match the waveform, you can remove the gadget and move it to a different location on the rock and try again. Some locations are better than others. Once that is going though, you can return to the ship and start your mining. Remember though, after the break, you can go out and retrieve the gadget to use it again. Though I will admit, most of the time I do forget to do this, and if you blow up the rock by overcharging it, the gadget will be destroyed altogether. Once in the Prospector seat again, move your ship in until you see it reach optimal range as indicated in the top left corner of the mining HUD. This is the ideal spot to be for when you're trying to break the rock that you're working on. Then start your laser at 0 power, fire it, and begin to work the rock by increasing laser power till you see the green bar climb in the lower right hand corner of the HUD. As the gauge climbs, adjust your laser as needed to get into the green section of the charge window, and make sure to lower your laser power if needed to avoid going into the red section, as staying here too long will make you overcharge the rock and risk destroying it and yourself. If you do get into the red section, do not hesitate to completely turn your laser off till it cools down. As you maintain the gauge in the green section, you will see it fill up, and when it reaches the top, the rock will break. Once broken, this is the time that if you're going to collect your gadget, I would do so. And all you have to do is actually exit the ship, go find it where the rock was broken, and you can go ahead and put that back in your inventory. Then once you return, you may see all yellow highlighted remnants or a mix of yellow and purple. If they are purple, those pieces do not need to be broken down again and can be collected. Though I recommend waiting till all the pieces are broken down in case there are higher value ones that can fill the Prospector. The pieces that are highlighted in yellow do require an additional break to make them collectible. Using the fracture laser, repeat the process you did with the initial break, although the gadget will not be needed most likely. Also be aware that the rate of charge and amount of power needed for the additional breaks is far less than what was used the first time. This means that some quick adjustments may be needed, or toggling the laser on and off at times if a super small charge window is present. These pieces once broken means that you can go ahead and start collecting. Always work your collection from the highest concentration and percentage of the most valuable ore down to the lowest percentage. Just as before, if you hover over the deposit, the percentages will show on the right side of your HUD. Switch your laser to the extraction mode and begin collecting. As you collect, you will see the gauge in the lower right corner reflect available space in your Prospector, and when it reaches full, it will warn you and it will be time to head to the refinery. Now, when mining in the mole, I find the process is much the same with the exception of having 3 lasers versus 1. This will enable you to break bigger deposits. The same one gadget rule applies with the mole and the bigger rocks though, and having one team member be able to go out and place a severe on the rock is very beneficial. As for the mole's loadout though, it is slightly different. For the mining heads in slot 1, I find putting a Helix 2 there beneficial, and in slots 2 and 3 a Hofstede size 2. For the modules, all lasers should have a Focus 3, will also have a Stampede module. This is just what we find the most beneficial for us. You can actually experiment and find ones that you prefer or like better. I do go with a mix of lasers due to the Hofstede works great and is very stable and controllable, though the Helix on bigger rocks does give a nice boost in braking power, but it is harder to control. Typically what our process is to hit the rock with the 2 Hofstedes and see if it can break the deposit. If not, then we'll slowly add helix to the mix, and once we get some movement from the gauge, we adjust as needed from there. In some cases, starting with the helix and adding the Hofstede afterwards allows for a slightly smoother control of the increase in the charge and ability to maintain it in the charging window. All other aspects of the mole are the same though. Your cargo capacity allows for much larger hauls back to the refinery, and one added benefit over the last couple patches though is the fact that the pilot of the mole now has a mining HUD, which is highly beneficial to determine what rocks are out there without relying on somebody in a turret. Now, when choosing a refinery, you don't have to worry so much about time anymore, as Quantanium is really not a key item and more one that happens by chance. The time that you have with Quantanium has also been increased to 24 minutes, so the rush to hit the refinery is not as dramatic. Most of all, pay attention to what refineries pay as buffs or reductions to certain ores. You can tell this by the chart in the top left corner of the refinery screen. Some stations do give up to a 3% buff for certain ores or a 3% reduction for others, so be aware what buffs are out there. And currently I use HER-L2 and ARC-L2 as they do provide adequate buffs for the ores that I do mine. Once you're finished with mining and head to the refinery of your choice with the proper buffs, you can go to the refinery office, and at the kiosk on the left you can sell the raw ore directly and immediately and be paid without a wait. This is a quick return, though harmful in the fact that you're not earning the full potential. If you refine the ore, you will earn much more than a raw sale. Approach a refinery kiosk, and here you'll want to select the ship that has the collected ore. Go through and select all the ore listed, and then just above that you'll see the refine method. Each method has a notification of yield, cost, and time. The most profitable ones will take the longest, and this will be the Dinnick solution. It will be the most profitable, but also the most costly. This will also take usually anywhere from 24 to 60 plus hours, depending on how much work the refinery has. You can select this, then click quote below, and it'll give you the time frame to complete. If you really don't wish to wait that long, we do find that the second best method is the Farron exchange. This would be very profitable as well, and usually finish in 30 hours or less. While still a high cost, it produces just a slightly smaller profit than the Dinnicks with far faster times. Once you select your method though and get your quote, click confirm and your job is started. And you can go out and make the next run. Keep in mind there is no limit to the number of refinery jobs that you're able to run at one time, so you can continue to add them and they will stay there until you decide to move the refined goods to a cargo ship, and that is where you get paid. Once the items are refined and you decide to go sell, you'll need to make sure that you have a cargo ship large enough to hold all your refined materials. You're going to go to the refinery kiosk, and on each completed job you'll see the collect button. Hit that, and then in the drop down select the ship that you want it stored in. Then hit confirm and repeat this for however many jobs that you have, and you will need to fly the ship to a TDD office that you plan to sell the refined goods at. Be aware you do need to sell at the TDD on any of the main cities such as Lorville, Area 18, New Babbage, or Orison. And that is it. Rinse, repeat, and profit. Mining overall has really regained a lot of its fun with the Prospector now that it's become viable again. And with the revamping of the ores and the other aspects of mining, this has really become a fun activity to do in the verse. Now granted, if you do come across a sizable deposit of Quantanium, you're still going to want to grab it as it is extremely profitable. That is, if you can break it. But in the current state, you're better off concentrating on gold, bexlite, and taronite, which can be very, very profitable. I do really hope that everyone has found this update useful and helpful, and don't forget to catch the streams every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on all the streaming channels. Also, make sure to get your entries in for the Anvil Arrow Starter Pack giveaway. All you have to do is either subscribe here or follow on any of the streaming channels to automatically be entered. We will pick the winner on February 1st, so keep an eye on your notifications. And if you do want to help support the channel, check out the merch store, as that is how we're able to do these giveaways each month. And we do appreciate the ability to give back to the community and your generosity in supporting us. Hopefully everybody will be careful out there and be safe and take care, and we will hopefully see you in the verse.